Yeah, this is session number 1098 with RBF, his fourth session, 9/13/84.
Focused in, but I still have a bit of mental chatter going on.
All right, you're at focus 10, but I didn't get the last part of that.
I still have a bit of mental chatter going on.
Okay. Do you want to stay there and deepen that?
For a little bit, if you'll bear with me.
Sure, go ahead.
Move on to focus 12 now.
All right, very good. Let me know when you reach focus 12.
At focus 12.
All right. So you want to look around there and see if anything enters any perception form for you, or any thoughts come in. Describe to me whatever's happening.
Well, the images mostly stopped when I spoke. I kind of brought myself back around to verbal, but before I reported in focus 12, I saw myself as sitting at my desk at home very, very clearly.
Do you have any emotion associated with that?
I was working on a project that I've spent a lot of time on, and mostly it's a feeling of elation that goes with it. When I associate working on it with the state like I'm in right now, progress is really rapid. It's not a work form so much as a creation form. I like to stabilize here and check some different areas.
All right, very good. Check back with me. Bob, how are you doing in there?
I opened the channel asking for messages for me. I got a clear sensation that I was underwater in an ocean. The response that I got was a large eye looking at me, and the message was to look at the eye very closely. Eye belongs to a whale that is swimming. It has me hold on as it rides by, and I'm swimming with it. The being is a guardian of the orcas.
Are you still underwater?
Yes. There's more. I get the impression the guardian is very sad. I am scene of a killer whale being hauled up by a net onto the deck of a boat.
This is the reason for the sadness, you think?
Yes. Whale guardian is aware of the thoughts of many individual whales.
Can you get in tune with any of those thoughts?
I'm told the sadness is not an emotion felt by the guardian or the individuals the guardian is in touch with. The sadness is a way of conveying to me what I'm getting is these whales perform or have a role in I'm still with the guardian whale, but now we together are viewing the whole Earth from a distance. The message here is that the Earth is not a place where living beings live on, so much as the world and the Earth is a living being itself. The role of the whales is in part of the support of that living being, the Earth. And the sadness is meant for me specifically because I, as a human, understand emotion, sadness. And it's appropriate because the role of the whales is becoming more difficult for them to accomplish in support of the living being, the earth. Sadness is meant to convey to me a message to be shared that the whales are important in the health and the evolution of the being earth.
How can you get a sense of the nature of the special role, special importance that is being represented there? That in the concept or image of the earth as a total living being, it would appear that all species, all life forms together would be in some way important to the total living being. But is there something specific about the whale that you might find available to you there?
I'm asking. The role is not an ecological role. They are not important in the way of keeping down populations or the balance of ecological populations. The role that they refer to has to do with another realm that they as intelligent beings occupy. The message is the whales have a higher realm that they occupy, much as humans do. They as a group have an effect in the balance of spiritual awareness and evolution. They have a only words that come to mind are job. They have a job to do here along with us in the preservation of the planet. The vision I get again is from the distance of the planet. The planet is very beautiful, but in a lot of ways it's not well, and it's not getting better. The oil guardian is also in touch with other species, and fold in particular the guardians of very large trees. The common thread in sharing of the guardians is in the increasing rarity of both whales and large trees, And like the whales, the large trees have a function. Now, the function of the large trees is not so much in the higher spiritual world, but in a direct energy realm. That trees are necessary to maintain an energy balance in the planet. But the whales, like humans, are active players in the interplay of decisions and policies that directly affect the stability of the world. The message I'm getting now is that on a higher plane, the whales interact directly with us as spiritual beings, and are important in maintaining the balances of they're important in maintaining the sanity of the policies of the larger nations of the world.
Well, as you know, there's been a great amount of human effort and energy focused in the direction of establishing some kind of communication link with the whale group. Is the whale guardian aware of that? Can you get any sense of whether that's a shared?
Yes, the guardian says that communication has been going on long before we started making conscious efforts, and that the conscious efforts of researchers now are good. They are in a primitive stage. At the level they are being conducted. But the main message is that humankind may lose the stabilizing influence on the spiritual level of the whales if they're allowed to vanish. I get the message that the physical presence of the whales in the earth plane aid in the communication of their spiritual beings by bringing them into an area that's shared with us, not only on a spiritual plane, but they share the actual physical plane of the earth as well with us.
Okay, well, that's fascinating here. We're getting close to the end of the high tone tape, so we will be shifting from the higher tone and more into the lower. Is there anything that you can think of while you're out there or in there, up there, over there, that you want to continue to do?
No, I think I'm finished. I have very peculiar physical sensations. I feel as though I'm in a very, very small containment, as if there were walls, maybe just millimeters from my face and body. I also feel as though I were very, very small.
Is this an uncomfortable feeling?
A little bit, yes. Not terribly, though.
Well, perhaps maybe it will go away if you count yourself back down to 10. And we'll see what happens to that feeling, and let me know when you're back at 10.
Okay. Almost like being a submerged boy or something and just popping up to the top real quick because sensation is gone.
Ah, that's good. All righty. Well, then bring yourself back down to 10 here, and we will give you a little a little beta signal to ground you.
Okay.
And as you're coming down, know that when you get back to state 1, all your systems will be functioning perfectly and in balance and harmony. You'll be feeling physically and mentally, spiritually fine. Okay. You were saying that you were in a strange place there toward the end. Huh?
Yeah, it felt as though I had rolled over into a really tight little corner, and I was actually up against the wall, or there were walls all around me. It felt like I was really confined, and almost as if somebody had rolled me up into a little ball and stuck me in a corner and kind of shoved me in there a little bit. It's really strange. A couple of interesting things. When I first asked if there were any messages for me, or something specific that I should address myself to, I got a really off in the distance, vague response that there is something. Yes, I just got a kind of a yes, and then I said, "How is it that I can make a connection?" And what I got back was, "Here's something that will catch your attention." There was this huge eye there in front of me. It was a whale eye, and the message that came with it was really strong. It was just look at me very carefully and see. And at a different level, there was another message in that, and that was that the method for making that kind of contact is really not very difficult, but that it's easy to make it difficult if you ignore the obvious. Anyway, so
well, you have total recall. It sounds like for your contact with Whale Guardian and how was that coming? How would you describe that information coming to you?
Kind of like having a conversation. Sometimes I would have a thought and I would immediately know the answer, but in fact, most of the time, if I wanted to know something, I had to go through the motion of throwing that question out and then waiting for a response. And then what would happen is I'd get a thought ball that just had so much in it that it would take me a few minutes to digest it. But I think that it was easier this time to sort through a lot of it than it has been in the past.
Have you had whale contact before?
No, I had a really extraordinary experience while I was on vacation, though. Lindy and I went up to the north part of Vancouver Island and met with some naturalists who are working with killer whales who all congregate in the summertime in a place called Johnstone Strait. And there are something like 300 of them all in this fairly small area. And we spent a day out with them. And during that day, there were a lot of times where I felt kind of in communing with them, and it left me with a really, really strong impression. One of the messages towards the end, before I forget, was that that there are various different levels of guardians. This one particular whale, and its guardian was or had I guess I don't know how to put it, but had contact and was constantly in contact with the large group of whales. And the message was that there were higher levels of well, anyway, let me finish this thought first before I go on to the next. There are higher levels of guardians that I could also contact who have access to larger and larger groups. And that the impression that I get of the guardians is not so much an entity in and of itself that's come like a guardian angel to watch over these, but that groups of individuals who become aware of each other can create a common consciousness that can become so powerful that it becomes an entity in and of itself and becomes life. And that's basically the idea that I got around the Earth being a living creature in itself. And I suspect, because of that conversation, that there are guardians that we can speak with who have contact with, or are the result of common consciousness of the entire planet.
Well, that's interesting. Let's see if that recurs or comes up again. Do you have anything, Rita?